Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw. In this video, we're going to talk about the belief that many top bodybuilders are weak or simply not very strong. Before we get into that topic, if you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. The best topic ideas I turn into videos just like this. I hear it nearly every month. Somebody will get on an internet forum on Facebook, make a comment on YouTube stating blanketly that many, and this is always the word they use, many top bodybuilders, they don't specify natty or not natty, it doesn't really matter. We're going to address the concept in this video. Many top bodybuilders are weak, meaning they don't lift a lot of weight. I'm going to dive into that in this video, give you 3 reasons where I think this belief comes from. I got my little handy-dandy cheat sheet here because I didn't want to mess any of my reasons. So if I look off screen, that's what I'm looking at. But just a little background. Those of you guys that don't know me well, I work in the industry as editorial director at Tiger Fitness. I work with a lot of writers, a lot of lifters. In all my time in YouTube, I've met a lot of the people that you guys have seen, YouTube celebrities, bodybuilders, natural, whatever. I've trained with everybody from Mr. North Carolina, natural bodybuilding, to Mr. Minnesota natural bodybuilding. I've been all over the industry, met a lot of these guys, met a lot of top natural pros, and met a lot of top IFBB pros. I've talked to Frank Zane. I've interviewed Frank Zane. I've spoken with Ronnie Coleman. I've trained with Ronnie Coleman. I've spoken with Jay Cutler, Phil Heath, all that kind of stuff. Phil Heath follows me on Instagram. I've worked with the Hodge twins, etc., etc. So I get around, and I've interviewed, spoken with, trained with just an army of bodybuilders. And I've spoken and trained with an army of people that have done body transformations and just have really good bodies. Now, there's this. Let's get back to the concept that many top bodybuilders are weak. I'm going to give you 3 reasons why this is misguided. Number 1, folks that make this statement aren't actually spending time with these bodybuilders. They're just kind of speaking on the internet based on some weird perception they have, but they've never really spent any time in the trenches with these guys. If you spend time in the trenches with these lifters, you will understand they are very, very strong. When I went to train with Mr. North Carolina, I was amazed by how strong he is. Just incredibly strong. These guys aren't necessarily as strong as a power lifter, but they are far stronger than the average gym lifter, far stronger than the average guy or girl that is trying to achieve wonderful results. I've never met a weak bodybuilder. Never met a weak bodybuilder. And by bodybuilder, I mean somebody that it has competed at some level, somebody that has packed on a quality amount of muscle mass. So the people making these statements have never really trained with these people, because if they had trained with top bodybuilders or bodybuilders that have packed on a lot of muscle mass, they would realize that they are indeed a lot stronger than we suspect and a lot stronger than the average gym lifter. All right, second point I want to address here. Where are we getting the idea that many top bodybuilders are weak? Point number 2, from the lifters themselves. What am I talking about here? Well, when I speak to top bodybuilders, when I speak to these guys, most of them will say, I'm not very strong. I'm just not very strong. I'm not strong. I'm not a power lifter. I'm not very strong. And then you go into the gym and just see them crush ridiculous weight. Nearly every one of these guys that has told me they're not very strong, when I lift with them or I video their lifts or interview them, look at their numbers, they're about as strong as I am, especially if you consider their body weight. Mr. North Carolina, one of the old Mr. North Carolinas, for example, when I met him, we sat down and ate. Prior to going to the gym, he was telling me how he's not very strong. And then he went in and crushed 150s by 10 on dumbbell a bench press. That's pretty fucking strong. That's about as strong as I've ever been. He did it at a body weight lighter than me. So a lot of these guys think they aren't strong. I think they get this perception comparing themselves to strongmen and powerlifters. And indeed, they might not have the top 1 rep max strength. But when you see what they do in the gym, it's ridiculous. And they tend to do it with volume. Doug Miller is a great example of this. The third point I want to make is that a lot of these guys have built a lot of strength. And then over time, as they've packed on a good solid base of muscle mass, they tend to progress to more maintenance, maybe more moderate weight, maybe more volume, and doing less heavy or intense, relatively intense weight overall. Frank Zane is a real good example of this. I talked to Frank Zane many years ago. I interviewed him on the phone maybe 6-7 years ago. And Frank told me, Frank's known for, more fluff and pump type of work, for lack of better a way of expressing it. Frank's always seen as somebody that did a lighter and more moderate weight for volume, built an amazing physique. But Frank will tell you that he built the foundation of his physique doing odd lifts. Frank was very strong on the odd lifts, and that's what they called basically the powerlifting lifts before they were known as the big 3 or the powerlifting lifts. They called it the odd lifts. And Frank told me that he got quite strong on these lifts. I believe his squat was 4 or 5 for reps. His bench was, impressive. So Frank built a very good quality strength base, and then he entered maintenance mode. So, it goes back to looking at top bodybuilders, be it natural or enhanced, and what they're lifting now. A lot of times we as a community will look at what these lifters are doing now and try to mimic them. But reality, what they're doing now really isn't how they built their base. Me, for example, I built my base a certain way, and then when I got into powerlifting, I changed my training a little bit and got a little bit away from volume for a while and started to use more intense weight. But bodybuilders, a lot of them, they'll train a certain way, build up a certain strength base, and they might alter their training so their joints and, their body feels better. And it might be a little bit lighter weight, a little bit more volume. And, you simply don't see a lot of top bodybuilders, natural or enhanced, doing a lot of low rep sets. They're doing a lot of reps, a lot of volume, and getting in that quality muscle mass work. A lot of them are working on weaknesses as well. So that's one of the reasons this myth or belief still exists. The bottom line is you will never, that muscle mass comes from strength with a relative amount of volume applied over time. You will never meet a weak top-level bodybuilder unless they come straight out of the womb as a genetic freak. Maybe somebody like Bo Jackson, who's just jacked right out of the womb and only has to do push-ups for their rest of their life to maintain that amount of muscle mass. So it's complete nonsense. Top bodybuilders are strong, a lot stronger than the average gym lifter. The average gym lifter who wants that maximum amount of muscle mass sometimes latches onto this concept that they can do light fluff and pump work and build muscle mass this way. No, you got to get a lot stronger than you are now. Bottom line, nothing else. There's no way around that. So guys, hope this video has been of some help. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. If you made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day.